am so honored to introduce to you all Jesus Chuy Garcia, the next mayor of the city of Chicago.
To all of my friends who are assembled here today, women and men who do the most important thing in life, which is to care for people. Care for people. People are the most important thing in the universe. And the work that you do day in, day out enables everyone to live in dignity. This campaign that I became involved in, that I became a candidate in to take back the city of Chicago is not a personal campaign. This is a campaign about people, about respect, about people taking back what is theirs. It's about the public trust. It's about public well-being. It's about public health. It's about public schools. It's about public parks. It's about the public well-being. In other words, this is a campaign for human rights and human dignity that everyone has a right to have. The United Nations has proclaimed those rights as being inalienable to anyone living anywhere on our planet. And ministers will tell you that the planet is for us to be good stewards of. But we haven't always been good stewards of our planet. And Lord knows we have not been, or should I say, those who took power in the city of Chicago have not been good stewards of the city and its resources. Who pays taxes in the city of Chicago? Everyone pays taxes. When children go to the corner store, they pay taxes on candy that they buy, on the Twinkie that they buy, on a bottle of water or a can of pop. So everyone has a right to demand of their government that certain things be done. Everyone has that right. And I'm very proud to have the support of this union, as well as other unions like the Chicago Teachers Union and their courageous president, Karen Lewis, who just came back to Chicago. Karen Lewis just came back to Chicago. You know why she came back after taking a break and recovering from her surgery? She came back to Chicago because she wants to fight for the people of Chicago. Okay? She's back here with us in the trenches. Like many of you in this room, I was excited to be supporting Karen Lewis for mayor. She showed us how you fight back and stand up for things that you believe in, and she taught us how to win. She and the Chicago Teachers Union stood up to Rahm Emanuel, who tried to break the union and continues to want to privatize our public education system. And the teachers united, and they formed a coalition with parents, with students, with other community activists, and that's why they won. They were able to protect their rights, they were able to advance public education, and they have started a movement that has us assembled here today saying we need to continue in that way. We need to continue to fight for the most basic things. Everyone who lives in Chicago knows about violence, and everyone is concerned about violence. Violence affects everyone in the city of Chicago. Little bitty children who oftentimes become victims to bad shooters, people who are gangbangers and on the wrong road, involved in drug dealing and in the violent life. Senior citizens are victims of it too, sometimes prisoners in their own homes. Mothers and fathers worry about their children, and young people cannot move about because we lack public safety. I want to be mayor of the city of Chicago because I want to put Chicago on a different track. A Chicago that removes investment bankers and privatizers and people who would profit at our expense and put the government back in the hands of the people. And right now we have the momentum and the drive to establish a new coalition in Chicago of the 21st century. I would say a mighty coalition of the 21st century. A coalition that brings people of color together, black and brown and yellow and red and white, and again, all motivated by protecting the public interest, putting a stop to the efforts to privatize everything. Because if we don't put a stop to it, not only will they seek to continue privatizing our schools, they would even dare to privatize Lake Michigan water, and that's a God-given right that no one will privatize. We must draw the line. We must be able to say no. We must be able to say it belongs to all of us, not to a few speculators and investment bankers from Wall Street. Yes. And we say Wall Street because who caused the recession of 2008? The greedy bankers on Wall Street, the hedge fund managers, who today occupy very important positions in the administration of Rahm Emanuel. The president of the Board of Education is an investment banker, jeopardizing the future of our children, engaging in financing schemes for early child care education, which costs us a lot of money, but helps investment bankers make money. So ladies and gentlemen, this is the time, this is the moment when we can say, we took our city back for the people. We stood up for our children. We banded together in a wonderful coalition of people across race, across ethnicity, across geography. And we put the government on a different course that says we will invest in our neighborhoods. We will bring economic development to many neighborhoods which have been hurting for many, many years. We will produce jobs in those neighborhoods. We will have vibrant schools. We will make those neighborhoods safer for everyone, for children, for teenagers, for parents, and senior citizens, so that everyone has a shot at living and enjoying life in the city of Chicago. Chicago must cease to be a city for the privileged, also known as the 1%. If all the small fishes in Chicago united and moved together as one, we could throw that big fish out of there. And their time is coming up. So I ask you to get involved in this campaign. This is about you. This is about your family. This is about your community. This is about what you care. If we're going to have a city that is humane and responsive to everyone in the city of Chicago, we've got to take it back. To do that, we need you to volunteer and knock on doors. We need you to volunteer to make phone calls. We need you to volunteer to go to your church and tell your minister, this is how we're going. This is the right thing to do. If you want to make a difference, we also need you to volunteer for Election Day. Very, very important. It's going to be about turning out all of God's good souls to the polls on Election Day. All of them. Every single one of them. Anyone who will turn 18 by Election Day. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity. We must make this campaign that reaches everyone, that instills a new sense of hope and purpose and humaneness in every single Chicagoan. This is our time that we can tell our children and our grandchildren and our great-great-grandchildren that we stood up for ourselves, that we stood up for human dignity, that we stood up for the right thing, that we had enough courage and enough confidence in ourselves, that we loved ourselves, that we took our government back and put it